Morning everyone, my name is Audrey. I am Stitchywitch42 here on flosstube and over on Instagram. Today is Monday the 13th of February 2023. Happy Hallowtine, everyone. I have a lot to talk about today. There are 9 fully finished items. Disclaimer, 5 of them were not fully finished by me. Before I get into those, I want to do a real quick life update and then we'll get started on everything else. On my last video, I made the comment that I was feeling pretty good. That changed right after that. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but the issues with my ruptured appendix are still ongoing. I spent a few hours in the ER last Monday trying to figure out why I was hurting so much. They gave me an answer, and I see my regular doctor later on this month and then the surgeon next month. To suffice it to say, my abdomen still hurts. It's not a constant thing, but they said that it would probably be gone in just a few days. It's been over a week now and it's not over. That's all I'm saying about that. So, like I was saying, there are 9 fully finished projects that I want to share with you. And I'm going to start with the first one, which was actually a start and finish yesterday. My granddaughter is in high school, and she came over, I think it was Friday evening. Mark and I were going to go out to dinner. She was going to go out and hang out with some of her friends down at the food carts and have dinner down there with them. But her mom had dropped her off too early, so she came over to visit me. And she was telling me that she is going to be taking part in a play in the high school, Shrek. She has several parts in this play, but one of them is Peter Pan, and her director told her to come up with a hat. So what do? You go to YouTube and you type in, how do you make an archer's hat? Found a really short video that told me step by step what I needed to do. So yesterday my granddaughter and I drove into Salem. We picked up some fleece. We picked up some elastic. I needed 1 red feather. They didn't have any single feathers. They didn't have any packages that only had a couple of feathers in them. But they had this one package that had about 30 some feathers in it, and we could see a red feather in there. So I purchased it. That package was $22 for 1 single red feather. It's for my granddaughter. It's for a play at the school. We came back home. I made the hat, and I will be pausing the video here to show you pictures of my gorgeous granddaughter in her Peter Pan archer's hat. Her hair is quite long, and I know she's going to be wearing it in braids. And she was saying that she's going to have like 30 seconds, 45 seconds between scenes where she's going to have to change into her Peter Pan costume and get her braids pulled up on top of her head and this hat bobby pinned onto her head so that it doesn't fall off in her scene. We're going to go see her in the play on her birthday. I can't wait. I'm just so looking forward to that. But that was a new start and a fully finished project. It counts, right? I put it in my journal. It counts. Okay. So on my last video, I was sharing with you a couple of pieces that I had worked on, and one of them that I fully finished as I intended to was my Mill Hill Buttons and Beads Midnight Glow. I wanted to make it into a folded flat mount. Now, when I first started watching videos, I watched Vanna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitcher. She has all the tutorials up that you can watch, and you can learn how to do finishing on your own. It's what I did. And even though I've watched her videos many times, and other people's tutorials too, they sometimes don't turn out exactly the way I want them to. Yeah, we'll go with that. But this one did. With a normal folded flat mount. Is that, yeah, folded flat mount. Yeah, whatever. That's what I'm calling it. You have 4 pieces of mat board and you have 1 piece of foam core to wrap your stitched piece around. This is a Mill Hill kit, so the stitched piece was on perforated paper. And I got the idea that maybe instead of using the foam core, I didn't use any foam core at all, on the front piece of mat board I would wrap it with paper rather than fabric. And on the finished piece, you really don't see a lot of it, but I have a ton of craft paper upstairs, and I found a tone-on-tone black paper that is covered with skulls. I thought it was perfect for this. And then I was going through my finishing fabrics, and I found the perfect piece of fabric to wrap the other 3 pieces with. I got this fabric when I did the Halloween exchange with Melanie Smith Yarns and Threads. I don't remember if Melanie sent this to me or if this is one of the fabrics that I bought 2 of and I sent her 1. Does that make sense? Anyway, it's from our Halloween exchange, and it is perfect for this piece. So this is my Mill Hill Buttons and Beads Midnight Glow on perforated paper as a folded flat mount. So I'm going to get up close here, and maybe, yeah, you can see a little bit of it along the top here. That is paper, not fabric, around the mat board behind it. The fabric had candelabras and ravens. So if I have a candelabra on the front, I also had to have one on the back. I am so tickled with how this turned out. So there's fully finished item number 2, done by me. The other piece that I showed you, that I showed you the stitched piece on my last video. And by the way, if you're new to my videos, thank you for coming and checking me out. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I am a rusty bucket of haunted bog water, and that doesn't appeal to everybody, but it might appeal to you, because I have lots of fun things that I do on my channel. Anyway, if you're new, thank you for checking me out. If you've been here before, thank you so much for sticking with me and coming back time and again. I know I'm a bit crazy, but it works for me. It's my Addams Family vibe. So, the other piece that I shared on my last video was a small freebie from That's So Kelly. It's called Be Kind. This is the one that I was telling you that I had to unpick the sides several times in order to make it square. It's a diamond shaped pattern. I got it done. I love the fabric that I stitched it on. It's 32 count Havana. The color is absolutely fantastic. It's stitched in 310 black. Going back to watching Vanna's tutorials, measure twice, cut once. I have issues with doing that. So I kind of sort of didn't give myself enough fabric to wrap around the piece of foam core that I used on this piece. But it's okay. It's mine. And that's all that matters, is this is mine. I also found in my stash what I thought would be the perfect backing fabric for this one. It has sunflowers on it. So I was upstairs working on it, and my finish of around the foam core for the stitched piece, it's a bit wonky. It's okay. What is that? Wabi-sabi. That's it. It's wabi-sabi. When I set it on top of the mat board that was covered with the sunflowers, when I centered it, you could no longer tell that there was sunflowers around it. It was just yellows and blacks and browns around it. You couldn't see what it was. So what I did is I dropped it down to the lower corner, and now behind the stitched piece you can see the sunflowers. I also used some of the chenille that Melanie Smith sent to me in the Halloween exchange. It's a bit thicker than I've used before, but again, I like the way this turned out. Not my best finish by any means, but I like the way it turned out. So this is Be Kind. It's a freebie from That's So Kelly if you sign up for her emails. It is a flat mount ornament. This is on foam core. This is the backer board. This is what it looks like on the back. And this is the chenille. So when I was putting the chenille on, and I use Aleene's tacky glue in almost all my finishing. I use it in my paper crafting too. I started down at the bottom, and I put this side on, and I pinned it down, and I put this side on, and I pinned it down, and then I put the glue on this side, and I took this and I started laying it down in the glue, and I realized I have to leave the loop. So I pulled it back off, and I took some baby wipes and I rubbed off as much of the glue as I can there. It got rather stiff. I mean, who's going to come over and feel the loop on my ornament, right? I know it's that way. But I just took a DMC color of floss, wrapped it around really tight right there to make my loop, continued back around, came back around the bottom, and then I let it dry. I did put pins in to help hold the chenille down onto this, just inserted them through between the two pieces of mat board. I think it's cute. Fully finished number 3. So my 4th one is one that I started between my last video and this video. On my phone, on my laptop, I have a program called Dropbox. And like I said, I belong on several different emails from designers. That's So Kelly and Liz Matthews and the Witchy Stitcher and Wild Violet. Yes, Wild Violet Cross Stitch and Ugly Duckling House and others. And they, every now and then, will offer up freebies. So I had added this one to my Dropbox probably about a year ago. I know that there are a lot of people that like using the computer programs for doing their cross stitch. I'm not a fan of using my phone or my laptop to look at my patterns. I'm much better with a paper pattern. But I've got these things in my Dropbox, so I'm going to stitch them. I don't have it down here. I thought I had another one down here that I had stitched for my Dropbox, but I don't. That's okay. So anyway, this piece was from Wild Violet Cross Stitch. It was called Autumn Garden. And they were having a stitch along when this pattern first came up. So if you go onto Instagram and you use the hashtag Autumn Garden Sal, you'll see several different people's versions of this pattern. It called for 3 DMC colors and 1 cottage garden thread. I don't have any. I think it's cottage garden thread. So I pulled out my DMC, I pulled out those 3 colors, and I pulled out a 4th one, and I started stitching it and didn't like it. And I hadn't gotten very far on it, so I just pulled out what I had. I then went back upstairs, and I have, in my crafting bureau, I have some hooks that all my fancy flosses are on. And I don't use a lot of fancy flosses, but I've got a fair amount of them, so when I can, I try to go up there and stitch from stash. So I went up there and I picked out 4 colors, and then I came downstairs, and I think this took me 2 days to stitch, but this is Autumn Garden. Now, I do have a little pumpkin pin here on a bulb pin, but I think that this is just really, really cute. And one, I wanted to stitch it because I had it in my drop box. Obviously, it was something that I liked, and I was trying to clean out the drop box, getting rid of patterns that I had already stitched or I wasn't going to stitch. So, and it's so cute. So I made this into a little pin pillow so that I could add it to my autumnal decoration whenever I get around to doing that. So that's fully finished. Item number 4, done by me. The next 5 were done by somebody else, but I'm not ready to share them. My crow is trying to roll away. So last time I was working on my Halloween Village afghan. And I had told you that I had made a mistake on one of the pendants, had to pick it all out, went back in and restitched just the outline of that one, and then I went ahead and I stitched the outline of the second one to it. And I'm really close on finishing that second pendant here. But this is what I did. I got all of this restitched. There are 3 shades of yellow up here on the top of the candy corn. There are 3 shades of orange in this section of the candy corns. The thread down here is glow in the dark white, and then of course the black. I keep forgetting to tell you what this is stitched on. It is being stitched on an afghan cut, which is a 1 3/4 cut of 20 count light ash gray lugana. I am stitching this 4 strands of DMC floss over 2 squares. The glow in the dark is stitched 2 over 2. But I've just got a little bit to finish here on this orange here, and then I need to go in and do the black outlines on these 2, and then I can move into the next 3 pendants. They were getting to be just a wee bit boring to stitch on just these. But I have been stitching them while I've been watching the original Addams Family, and I'm just about done with the series. My husband found for me the new Addams Family. Apparently in the 1990s, somebody up in Canada decided that they wanted to do their own version of the Addams Family. Mark found it on YouTube. It's the new Addams Family. I only watched part of the very first episode because it was too campy for me. It was just too campy for me. Go check it out. Go watch 10-15 minutes of the first one. You'll understand. Uncle Fester is a vampire, and he's gray. And I think Morticia is a vampire too. Yeah. So then, having gotten tired of working on those, on the pendants, I decided to go back and pull out my Erica Michaels Bristol Berries 2. I am stitching this on 32 count white linen, and I'm working on the blueberry, the blue floss berry. And that's where I am with this one. I was having so many issues with this band right here. I don't know what it is. I kept adding stitches or not putting in enough stitches, and I finally got tired of working on this band here, so I came up and I started the 4-sided stitches. And I went down and I tried to work on this again, and I ended up picking it out again. So then I went up and I started this part up here, and I came down and I started working on it again, and I had to unpick it again. I don't know what it is. This band right here, it's fiddly. We're just going to go with it's fiddly. But I'm succeeding. I will succeed. And, you know, not ironed or anything. Here's the red one. So I have enough fabric on here that I will be able to do the third one down below. And I know I was asking people a while back what color I should use, and got lots of fantastic comments on what color to use. When I was upstairs pulling the fancy floss for this little thing here, I have some Gloriana silks upstairs that I've never used. I got them, I think, in 2019. 2019 was the last time I went to Acorns and Threads Fall Fling. Fall Fling was the precursor to their Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, which was going to start in 2020, and we know what happened in 2020 and don't need to flog that to death. But in our goodie bag, I know I received a skein of Gloriana silks in white. And Anne was there at Fall Fling, and so she got to set up a little shop there and had several different packages up there. And I'm pretty sure I have a green Gloriana silk. So I figured the red, the blue, and the green would be a really nice trio of berries. And when I get them done, I'm going to go watch another tutorial on how to finish berries. I'm going to watch Helen's tutorial on how to finish berries. Because just like Vanna, Helen D, East Coast Crafter on Instagram, she has put up several videos on how she does her finishing, and she always impresses me. It's just amazing what she does. I can do my own finishing, but I don't always measure twice and cut once. And I cheat, and I don't make things as straight as they should be, and that's okay because they're all mine. Helen inspired me right before Christmas when she showed a pattern. And it was like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. And you know where I'm going. It's the Christmas Kraken. Actually, it's called Release the Christmas Lights. It is by Lola. She is on Etsy. And when I went to her shop, I found she had a series called Christmas After Midnight, and there was 4 more really cute little patterns. So I got all 5 of them. And then I sent Helen a message and I said, hey, I've got all 5 of these. When I get them stitched, will you finish them for me? And she said yes. She didn't have to, but she said yes. So I got them all stitched. The last one I finished on New Year's Day. It was my first finish of this year. And shortly after that, I sent them off to Helen, telling her that there was no rush for her to get them done because I don't need them for a while. She contacted me at one point and she said, I have the year charms and I have little bells. Which would you prefer on your ornaments? And I said, you decide. You're the finisher. See, I take things up to Jolynn at Acorns and Threads all the time, and I will give her an idea for what I would like, and then I let her do what she wants. Well, that's kind of what I did with Helen. I had sent her some finishing fabric. I've used this fabric before. I thought it was perfect for the back of the ornaments because skulls, and they're glow in the dark. That's right. These skulls glow in the dark. They're amazing. I received a package back from Helen here not too long ago with a lovely card in it, and she said that she got them done sooner rather than later because if you watch her videos, and if you don't, why not? I've watched her since the beginning. She's fantastic. But her husband is now working from home, so she's lost her half of the crawfish. Crawfish. Not crawfish. Crawfish. Yeah. Anyway, I received a package back, and she had wrapped my ornaments up with the remainder of this fabric. She had wrapped around it this ribbon, which is adorable. Little skulls, skeletons. And she had included some eyeball counting pins. Yes, please. Would you like to see them? See, if you've been paying attention to my background, you've seen them throughout this whole video. I bought this Halloween tree a couple years ago. Ordered it off of Amazon. When I got it, I realized it was not what I was wanting at the time. But now I have these ornaments from Helen's and I need something to display them on. So I went upstairs and I got the box that had the tree parts in it. They were covered with cobwebs. I hate cobwebs. I don't like spiders. I don't like cobwebs. My house is old and dusty, and that tree was covered with cobwebs because it'd been sitting in the box for 2 years. I had also ordered some lights off of Amazon. These are the little, they have a little battery pack, and they're little hearts. And I thought they would look perfect on my Hallowtine tree. And here's the first of 5 more fully finished projects, finished by the fabulous Helen D. This is Christmas Kraken. This is just gorgeous. She ended up putting little bells on them, which I absolutely loved. The ears would have been fine too. The bells are fabulous. On the back is the fabric with the glow-in-the-dark skulls. And because they have glow-in-the-dark skulls, when she made the cording, she put glow-in-the-dark thread on it. Fantastic. The second one that I stitched was A Christmas Ghost Story. Again, she finished it with the bell. They're all different colors, with the glow-in-the-dark skulls on the back and the glow-in-the-dark floss on the side. Third finish, Snow and Bones. Love this so much. And I think she picked the right color bell for each one because they pull out something from the pattern. Skulls on the back, glow-in-the-dark floss on the side. Baba Yaga's Gingerbread Hut. Love it. Just love it. Same skulls on the back, same glow-in-the-dark there. This one has a green bell on top of it. And last but certainly not least is Christmas in the Belfry. This one has a silver bell, the glow-in-the-dark skulls, the glow-in-the-dark floss in the cording. They are absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Helen, for doing that for me. I'm just tickled that she said yes, that she would do it, and I am amazed by how she finished it, because she always does a fantastic job with all of her finishes that she shows on her videos. All right. So, I had another new start, and I finished it just this morning. It's not fully finished, but I finished it this morning. Like I said, I have not been feeling well these past couple of weeks, but I've been a busy girl. I've been stitching, man. Just stitching. Again, on my phone, in my Dropbox, I had a pattern from Leela Studios, Tomato. So I've been wanting to stitch this one. I've looked at it many times. I finally decided to go upstairs and go through my fabrics and see what scraps I have. And I found a piece of 32 count ivory lugana. Pulled all the colors for it, and this piece has at least 3 personalizations in it because I can't count. I can't count. But this is Tomato. There's a mistake in there, there's a mistake there, and there's a mistake here. I'm not going to tell you what the mistakes are because overall it looks fine. So I'm thinking that this is going to be just a flat mount. I would like to do more tomato pieces because why not? So that's another finish. It will be fully finished sometime later this week. And on top of all of those things, my 4 fully finishes, my start and my finish, my start and my finish on Tomato. My crow just does not want to stay where it's supposed to stay. And now my pumpkin's upside down. I did receive some happy mail. I got a package in the mail the other day from my friend Lisa, who is Prims on Greenway. And she had actually won this on someone else's video and knew that if she got it, that it would be perfect for me. It's a Manny Dodonna witch hat pincushion. And I think that is really, really cute. It's stitched on black linen. I don't do black linen. I will go get some black Ada and I will stitch it on that because it will be just fine. And then she included some other fun stuff in her package. And if you know me, I have gotten into paper crafts, and I have an altered book that I am using to record memories for this year. So this little tag that she had that says goods from Greenway, well, that has to go in there because she's covered it with plastic. It'll make a nice pocket. And then there was this cute envelope in here. Just a little square envelope, but it unfolds. It's a diamond shape. And I'm going to figure out how to make an envelope out of it and add it to my journal. And then a little handmade card that she had added in there. That all needs to go into my altered book. But along with that, she sent me one of the waxers that she has been making, and she is just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. A cameo of a lovely lady with a little silver heart charm there. Absolutely lovely. So thank you very much, Lisa, for thinking of me. Thank you for sending extra goodies for me to add to my books. Yeah. When I was upstairs with the granddaughter yesterday, I obviously had to clean off my desk before we started working on her hat. And Mark happened to come upstairs, and I made some comment. I said, I was looking for the elastic. And I shuffled a couple of things around on my desk, and I found the elastic right away. And Mark goes, that's not fair. And he goes, when I want to look for something out in my shop, it takes me hours to find it. Even if I just set it down, it takes him hours. Male and female, what can I say? Alrighty. I have made some more floss books. They are going to be going up for sale this Thursday on my Stitchywitch42 D-Stash page on Instagram. I sell them for $20 plus $5.50 shipping within the US. Postage prices just went up again, so they went up again. I have 3 of them. I might possibly get a 4th one made before Thursday, because sometimes playing with paper is just way too much fun. And the alternative is coming back and working on pendants on my Halloween Village afghan, and I think I need a little break from it. I need to finish that one pendant and then outline them, and then I need a little bit of a break. So I've lost a piece of cross stitch. Do you remember the pattern that I stitched last year for Mark and I for our anniversary? The 2 kissing skulls? When I took stuff off my mantle and I took it upstairs, I had it sitting on the floor with my How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. And I didn't do anything with it. When I went to get this to bring it down, I was going to bring that down too, because I thought that would be perfect for Hallowtine. And I can't find it. It is nowhere to be found in my library. It is nowhere to be found in my crafting bureau. It is nowhere to be found in my bedroom. It's not down here. I've asked the gremlins to return it. They're not cooperating. For the life of me, I cannot figure out what happened with that piece. It's not a small piece, but it was sitting on the floor in front of that, so it should have been there. I even got the random thought the other day that maybe because I had my big tub with all my Christmas paper in it sitting on the floor in the library in front of that picture, that it might have fallen inside there. So I went and pulled that out the other day, and no, it's not in there. So, if any of you have any pull with the gremlins, would you please ask them to return my kissing skeletons? Because I really like that piece. And it would have been nice to include it down here for my Hallowtine decorations. Until we meet again, my friends, live long and stitch on. Bye-bye.